Can you do another clap?
I do. It was quite an exciting few days, that kind of final push.
The last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, it was really good, and a lot of that stuff was night stuff as well. So my favourite bits, which are all the towns talk and the social club scenes and the community gun scene, and they were really big sequences, like lots of moving parts, lots of extras, quite challenging lighting wise, but by that point we kind of had a good rhythm going. And
yeah, and I just think like just adding to the energy and how much stuff we had is like, I do remember you actually feel more pressure to do well when you have a lot of stuff. Like when there are these extras and there is this good location, like, I don't know about you, but I feel like there's this additional pressure to make sure that you maximize it and get the most out of it. And you always like want to punch yourself in the face when like you think, you know, we had this crowd, but you can't see them, or we have this car, but you can't see it. And, you know, it's just, it focuses you to make sure that you maximize these things that you've worked really hard to put in place.
But I think you're just drawn into the world of the film like much quicker when you have all those people there and you have all this set dressing, and when you're just on a street and you're like barely dressing it because you haven't got like a lot of stuff. I think it's harder to get into the world of it, whereas you're like in like a smoky bar with like all these people in amazing costume, and it kind of just happens. It feels a lot more natural. I remember the social club being an interesting one because we had to start that with doing the final scene where Andy confronts Wayne Pickett in the toilet. That was in the social club.
Okay, yeah, so it's not actually
location.
Is that not at the nightclub, it's at the social club?
Yeah, so we had to shoot that element of that, and then we also then had to move upstairs, shoot that whole bar thing where Steve comes into the room, then looks out the window, and then there was the whole bit outside the back.
The long track?
The long track.
Big tasty track.
The long track.
Tim being like, do it.
Dude,
Get them all out.
get it all out.
50-footer.
It's quite funny how the hall in there's just like the little like production office with Guy and Seb and everyone. They're all just like sat on their laptops, and we're like shooting directly through the window at them.
Yeah, I remember like
It's so funny.
some people being like, oh, I think you can see them, and we're like, doesn't matter. Like we're moving so fast, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Light stands and shot and everything. We're just like smashing like lights into the windows.
It was a lot to shoot, and it felt really big. And looking back, it feels huge. Even though in the film, like that whole kind of section feels really quick. Like it's a series of quite quick bits. Like he arrives, goes upstairs, has a look around, goes downstairs. It's all really quick, even though the production of it was massive. Really,
Well, it had to be super quick, and I think we did it all in really good time. Downstairs, the toilet, the beating up in the toilet bit, upstairs, shooting that whole bar bit, looking out the window, and then down, doing the track, and then looking down the alley, and then coming around the front and shooting that bit with Lee, with Ricky Pickett.
Yeah, some nice shots in that.
Some of my favourite stuff in there. The glue sniffing bit as well.
Which, interesting point, is the reason the film isn't 18. Yes, it has copious amounts of swearing and punching and all that stuff, but the thing that tipped it into being an 18 was the 2-second shot of somebody sniffing glue out of a bag, and if we had removed that, we would have got a 15. But I was not prepared. I was not prepared.
Yeah.
No compromise.
We were moving pretty fast to light that little glue sniffing room, and then we were moving to the front as well. So we had like, we're always trying to like keep ahead. So we were always like pre-lighting the next bit.
Yeah,
and
splitting
like
the crew.
I remember that like we'd shoved a gem ball or a pancake light in there, and we were all like lining it up. And I remember you being like, "It's a bit bright in there, isn't it?"
I want it dingy. In the script ads, it says dingy, dark, dingy room, and I can see everyone in it.
Needed dimming down a bit. It's like you very rarely like comment on the visuals in terms of like you don't get too worked up about
RC.
it unless it's like something like that where,
Well,
yeah,
no, it's totally not
it was
what I
like a
imagining.
completely brightly lit, like like a spotlight on them in there.
Them being the production designer and the costume designer, standing in, because you never have enough extras. And up in the pool room, it's the behind the scenes stills photographer playing pool with our
Dan's
location
playing,
manager, and Johnny's in there as well,
Yeah.
the location coordinator. So
Production coordinator.
yeah, we were chucking as many bodies at it as we
Yeah.
could. Sometimes the production team weren't too happy about it because they would need them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we'd be
yeah.
like, we need them. And they
yeah.
would, we need them. No, we
I
need
think
them now.
that It got even worse by the time we got to doing the nightclub
Yeah.
scene, where like everyone was in it, basically.
Yeah,
And
'cause
it got really tricky.
we needed more extras. I think we ended up with maybe 20 or 30, but really we were after 50 or 60. Having the club really dark, filling it with as much smoke as possible, and just by chance the far wall was mirrored, which at a glance as the camera comes around, it kind of creates this illusion that it's bigger than it is and there's more people than there really are. If we change the camera to the other side, like we're changing the extras costumes a little bit and just putting them over that side, so it looks like we've got more people than we really had. But yeah, that was hectic. That was a good night.
That was a good night,
The finale, sort of. The final before
I
the
feel
final.
like it is the finale, yeah.
Which don't know if you want me to talk about your story, but I do get a lot of. Quite a few people think it's somewhat anticlimactic, that there isn't like this huge, huge brawl.
What was the decision behind? Because I know that you had some thoughts on what you were going to do with Liz as well.
Yes.
And how was all that?
I wanted to end on a note that said that Andy was on a mission to help Steve, like solely. Like he's not there to help Liz, and that's what he decides. Like when he looks at her from the pillar, he says, I could help her out. I kind of want to help her out, but no, I'm actually here. I'm here to do something for Steve and to keep Steve safe. And you know, we have history. We've had a relationship. That's been and gone. I'm not here to try and rescue that, at least not tonight. So that was my thinking. Quite a few people say they're expecting like this massive bathroom brawl, you know, like Mission Impossible 7 or whatever it is, where like people are getting thrown through stalls and stuff. And not only do we maybe not have the capability of doing like that kind of performance, I'm quite a believer in, like, there are moments in the film where the violence is supposed to feel real and where it's supposed to feel fake. Fake violence is really staged. Fake violence lasts a long time.
Yeah.
Where this character gets a bit of a win and this character gets a bit of a win, and there's like a moments where the sort of momentum is swinging. And but that's not how real fights go. Like real fights are usually over and done with in seconds. If someone like Andy is going in there to hurt him, he doesn't want it to ebb and flow. He wants to go in, literally catch him with his pants down, and just absolutely steamroll him without. So yeah, it's a cheap shot. It's dirty, but that's how it is. Like if you really hated someone and you wanted to hurt them, like you don't want it to be a level playing field. And then he has the opportunity to stamp his head in, and I just didn't think it was that kind of movie. I didn't think it was like, it's not the kind of movie where people get killed like in fights, you know. And Andy's trying to be on a better path, and he's trying to set an example for Steve, and I think that's why he leaves. Again, like
he already tells him off for kicking in.
Yeah. Again, he
safe,
doesn't want to be a massive hypocrite, and I really quite liked how he has the choice to kick Wayne's head in. He decides not to, and simultaneously, Steve has an opportunity to do the same to Terry for backstabbing him over the bike. But both of them choose not to do it.
Yeah.
And that was ultimately the message. Like it's not an anti-violent film, but it's like the characters choose not to take it too far.
To like out of respect for one another, isn't it? It's like if Steve had like gone and beaten up Terry behind Andy's back after like Andy had like stopped him from going into the club and being involved in this any violence, like I think that would have really upset Andy in a way. It's to come out and then find that he's like kicking in Terry's head.
He just comes out and he's
like, oh, I'm just going to go back and finish off. Might as well go back and stomp on Wayne's head.
I don't know if you put it in the deleted scenes, but there's like this clip where the guy comes out the stall, you know?
Oh, yeah. That whole scene was always planned as one shot as well.
Yep.
Well, that's Steadicam.
Yeah, it was something that I thought about a lot. It always looked like that in my head. You get a lot of like cool movies where you follow somebody downstairs and into clubs, and you just get this kind of, ooh, like it's kind of cool. It's just cool, isn't it? It's just cool. It's just cool.
It is cool. I don't think there was any other way of doing it. That was like Andy's final journey as such, and like it just feels totally right that it just follows him the whole way.
Probably helps with the fact that we're trying to hide the lack of people as well. Like if you were going to plonk the camera down, how could you do that without essentially giving up that the space was a bit empty?
When we were trying to get the camera into the club and following Andy, I think the main challenge was like how to motivate this kind of
as it comes around.
Yeah, how we would get into the space and then come all the way around him, and we talked about people like crossing frame and bringing the camera around. I think I was suggesting like someone like looking round at Andy as he comes in, and then like someone's looking at, like turns to look at him, and that brings us round. Then you're like, I don't want anyone to notice that he's there.
Yeah.
And then I remember that, and then like in the take, like Pete, who is just gripping for us, like looks at him. And then of course the reverse shot as well. I think there was a funny thing with when Andy gets to the pillar and then walks to the bathroom to follow Wayne. Remember there was like the red lights from the stage were causing this enormous silhouette of the camera.
Okay.
Like, as you panned around and looked at where the toilet door was, all the lights from the stage by the red lights just like casted like a big shadow of like Steadicam. So like we had to have like Charlotte, one of the Sparks, to like run in with a flag and just like flag off all of the, it was as the camera was like panning round, she like comes running in and just like block all the red light from the stage.
I was really particular about someone coming out the bathroom just before like Andy makes the door, and there was like a really good take where they didn't come out the bathroom, and I was like, we need another one, and Guy was like, that doesn't matter, and I was like, yes, yes it does.
You love people coming out of the bog. Like you had it in the pub as well.
Yeah.
You had someone coming out.
How'd you know that was the bog?
Yeah, true. Austin was great, having someone like that on that was just really trying to get his head into the story. It was a super collaborative experience. You know, he's only there for one night, but I think he had a really good grasp of what we were trying to do. Also, Cami on Focus as well was running around with the wireless as well. She was like with a monitor, so she was also like kind of part of the group that was like moving through the space, and yeah, it was sweet. It was a very different song as well on the night, wasn't it? So the one that was in the final film.
In the actual scene, as it's being shot, we're playing a song that I had chosen, and I couldn't get the rights to it, which was a bit of a surprise considering I got the rights to much more notable artists with much more notable songs, and this was actually like somewhat obscure. Yeah. But the issue, as my music supervisor Karen, the legend, had pointed out, like anything that wasn't British was going to be a bit of a problem, and this was actually like a European band.
Yeah.
And they just like wouldn't do it. We got Motorhead and we've got Madness and the Selector. Like, what's your problem? We got Adam and the Ants. Like, what's your problem? But they wouldn't budge, and it was like a bit of it was like this cursed scene, because I think on all the other songs I probably got, like, I had a maximum of like 3 choices, and I got like the 3rd one. Yeah. But I had I had to go through 9 songs
to get to that
for this, and after like 5 or 6, I was totally out of ideas. Yeah. And spent a lot of time like just going through albums but yeah, 9 songs, and then we landed on Kim Wilde, the fantastic Kim Wilde, and it fit, and it was really cool.
Exterior scene was good as well. Again, some nice steady cam work there as well. Like, really like these shots where we just let it all play out, and yeah, great. And again, Camilla just like smashing focus on that.
Yeah,
like everything's just
the best shots.
Bang on, like focus pools that were like pretty much wide open.
A solid night.
A good night.
A solid scene.
One of the good nights.
One of the good nights. One of the many good nights that we had on the fence. Thank you for watching this video. We are hopefully going to be putting these out on a fairly regular basis, so do keep an eye out on the socials. Please do consider buying or renting the film. You can find out all the information you need on the fencefilm.co.uk.
Oh no!
What happened?
Not a good time to film.